Hello, everybody, and welcome again back to Procrastinator's Pit Stop. We have a really interesting and amazing guest for you today, Artie Shaw Jr., popularly known as the Chef Boy. He's a multifaceted personality renowned as an automotive and motorsports influencer, motivational speaker, and tech enthusiast. His passion for muscle cars and motorcycles is evident across his vibrant social media presence, including YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. With over 32,000 subscribers on YouTube, 50,000 followers on Instagram, and 35,000 followers on TikTok, Artie has carved quite a niche for himself in the digital space. Artie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here at the pit stop for the procrastinators with Chris and
Excellent. We're happy to have you here. Now, as is customary on the show, we do have a little bit of an icebreaker. Now, a little birdie told me that you have quite a penchant for video games. So, my question to you is, what is your favorite video game and why?
this one's gonna hurt. Oh man, I'm supposed to say Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm supposed to say Assetto Corsa, but favorite video game, Warframe. It's a video game. I like to describe it as ninjas in space. You can do whatever you want. If you want it to be a first-person shooter, it's a first-person shooter. Hack and slash, it can be a hack and slash. RPG, built in. A collecting game, you can do that too. But in terms of it's my favorite game because it will never require you to spend a dime. It just says if you want to, you can, but here are the 15 other ways you can get the 15 other things that you want to get. It's a collector game. So you could spend $10,000 and collect everything by spending money, or you could just actually play the game. I came from another game, NBA 2K, and the 2K series is riddled with microtransactions. It costs $150 for you to actually get into the game on day one. No, not interested. And once I learned about Warframe, it was no going back.
Well, that's an interesting choice, and I like that. And you're right, microtransactions do plague everything now. Seems to be the way everything's going, but not much we can do about that.
Oh, we can just stop buying the games. And then it's, it's so hard to not buy certain games. Like, okay, because if you want a really good basketball game, I mean, what else do you have kind of thing? But luckily I don't have to play basketball in order to be happy. Warframe, and if I want to fly, Microsoft Flight Sim. And I'm on the PC, so that means I can mod everything. Everything. It's so much fun.
Well, before we dive into it a little bit, why don't you give us a little bit about your background and how you got to be where you are today?
So, most of my professional experience has been as a consultant. I am a project management professional or PMP certified. So, I've spent time in a number of different places, specifically healthcare, working on optimization and enhancement for workflows that already exist and creating new workflows, training staff on the project and things that they need in order to get what they need to get done in the system, especially if we were sunsetting a system and then sunrising a new one. My life has always been gap analysis, root cause analysis, and being able to define what each of the problems might be through risk management. Basically, if you read the PMBOK or project management body of knowledge, that's how my brain works at this point. It's wild. But that's what I've done, and much of my experience in the content creation space, it just simply boils down to project management and having a good team that is able to push me even in those times where I want to put something off to the side and say, you know what, I'm tired, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting, and I have a little bit of a background in that myself, about 20 years. But it's interesting because when it comes to procrastination, what did that mean to you personally, and how do you define it?
Procrastination for me, I mean, I think it's kind of the same story as a lot of people who were quote bright when they were kids, where math came easy until the alphabet got mixed into it. Everything was I don't have to study kind of thing. So once you get to a space where you have to begin to do the hard work, it becomes excuse, negotiation, and acceptance of bad behavior. And that for me was part of high school, but really college and all. It like I failed the first class I ever failed in my life. It came from I really should study right now, but I came across this thing that I hadn't come across before, and that was struggle. Because prior to this, everything was easy. The idea was go to class, and then the other, it was funny, I don't have to take notes. In order for me, let me rephrase that. I can't take notes. While I'm talking to a person, if I'm learning something, even if it's a very technical thing that I'm learning, can't take notes. I have to literally watch your mouth move, and then I'll be able to replicate. I'm more of a demonstration kind of guy than I am I'm going to do it and be good at it. The fifth time I do it, it's perfect. Why? Because I paid attention to you the first time. But there are some things that I had to learn how to study. First of all, learning how to study is hard for a person that never had to study. Like, I'll never forget reaching out to my sister. I was in college. I felt like a fool. Hey, T, can you do me a favor? Can you tell me how to write an outline? Luckily, I had a sister who, by the way, is a lawyer and going to be a judge by the end of this year. She says, sure, here's how you do it. I said, wow, I can't believe I have to do this. This is not okay. I hate this. So by the fifth class that I had, and I had to write an outline, I just didn't want to do it. Wasn't interested. So I'll wait until later. And I don't know if there was a TED talk that I heard, and I feel like it's gone viral enough for everyone to know about it. Oh man, what is that thing called? The procrastination monster, the big red monster that attacks you and it forces you to get done the work you need to get done, except when the work is the work you have to do for your own betterment. That's what I was stuck in for wow, over 15 years, you know, the work that needed to be done. So procrastination for me was allowing myself to excuse the idea and being okay with the bad behavior and negotiating really, really hard, just wasn't doing stuff.
Okay. And how did you get out of that?
Easiest answer that I give to everybody is everyone's like, how do you get so much stuff done? Because I'm still consulting, and you know I'm releasing content near daily on social media, and I have a thriving production company known as Drop 40 Productions, and it's kind of like, how do you do all of this? Easy, get a team. You need a team of people. You need a full, like, you need a good squad. Here's how you make a good team, right? Some people are just not going to be able to build the full roster, but you need at least part of it. Number one, you need a person who believes in you more than you believe in you. That can be a mentee. That can be a mentor. That could be your spouse, be your best friend. It could be someone that you don't actually like. As long as they believe in you more than you believe in you, you're literally 50% the way there. Because, so for instance, I told my little brother that, no one's going to watch me on YouTube. I'm not entertaining enough. So I'm 6'2", 280 pounds. Okay. I hit like a Mack truck. I can bench press somewhere around, I don't even know what bench press is, but I know I could deadlift closer to 600 pounds. I'm a big boy, right? My little brother is 6'4". And let's just say he works out with me. So, I'm not afraid of people. But there was this one particular time when I said that to him. Nobody wants to watch me on YouTube. More procrastination, more negotiation, more pushing the idea off, because it was easier for me to say that than it was for me to do the hard work, to struggle learning a new nonlinear editor, getting a camera and using it on myself as opposed to building something for someone else. It was just the ridicule. My God, that putting myself out there, all of those things, I was procrastinating, pushing those things away because it made more sense for me not to do it. The look he gave to this day strikes, I would say, as close to fear as possible in my spirit. He was offended that I would dare say something that ridiculous, that disrespectful, that untrue. Because he knew in his heart that I was a superstar. He knew that. To this day, if I say, I'm that dude, man, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna blow up. I'm hitting 100,000 in a month. He'll look at me and say, okay. This is not news to him. So you need somebody that believes in you like that. Then you need someone that holds you accountable. Hopefully it's the same person. Me, I happen to have a couple of different people. I said that I was going to do X. And it's funny. So the one of the methodologies, I stole it from a book. Oh my gosh. What is the name of the book? Oh my gosh. When I say it, you might know what it is. You seem like the kind of guy that would read a book like this. Who does what, by when, and how? It's a book on the principle of OKRs. or objectives and key results. It's kind of like goals and so SMART goals, sorry, and KPIs or key performance indicators, which is what we came up on forever. But OKRs seek to say, here's the objective, right? This is the line item that we have to get to. This is actually a bullet point. And the way to get to the thing on the list is a number of key results along the way. That idea of who does what, by when, and how, if I attach that to everything, then I give that to the person who is going to make me sit on what I said I was going to sit on, be a part of what I said I was going to be a part of, do what I said I was going to do. Guaranteed I'm getting that phone call. Hey, man, so, it's about a week in. What's going on, man? And and you can negotiate with yourself as much as you want to. Find someone you can't negotiate with. That's one. I am that person for a number of people, but I got a couple of people that I don't want to get that phone. I'm trying to shut you up. I need you to not call me at 3:00 in the morning saying, dude, there's no reason why you're asleep and you ain't get done A, B, and C, bro. Like, come on, dog. You know what I mean? So the easy answer is find a team, get somebody that looks up to you or someone that you look up to that's going to tell you what it is. And find a way to never be away from the struggle. I think that's the hardest part. I read a study somewhere that, and I would love to validate this. There wasn't a study, I'm sorry, no, it was almost like an expose where it was said that kids in China and Japan, or China or Japan, I don't remember which one, are actively given the wrong answer by their teacher when they're learning something like math. And I said, well, that sounds off. That doesn't sound right. If I say 3 + 4 is 7 and you say no, 3 + 4 is 8, prove that you're right. Now I get it. Okay. Because now they are reinforcing the struggle. There's a pain there. But guess what? It's the same thing as when you work a muscle. If the brain's a muscle, I have to give it hard stuff. I was at the gym, was it yesterday or the day before? And I heard someone say, yeah, if you want to make this harder, like literally had the weights, and I had 20-pound weights because that's as high as it goes in the class I was in, just extending it. She said, if you want to, bring that elbow up to the sky more, bring your shoulders away from your ears. This is the one place you want to make it harder. Everything else we want easier, but this is where we want it to be harder. So go ahead and find a way to make it harder. Struggle is what makes us. But humans are lazy. Man, I don't want to hurt. It's hard enough just being a dude out in the street nowadays. It's hard enough I don't want this. Why am I choosing this? Because you want to be better. You want what's on the opposite end of it, the opposite side of it. What's on the opposite side of me getting that elbow up higher to the sky, the crook of the elbow anyway, and then getting that shoulder down? What's at the end of that? That real crispy line right there. That real good line right there. So when I take this sweatshirt off when my air conditioner's not on, she can look at it and say, oh, baby, is it enough? Is that enough for you? Because I tell you right now, that's not enough motivation. I'll negotiate out of that. Guaranteed. But you know what I can't negotiate out of? The fact that there's a specific body type I want. And I don't like what I see when I look in the mirror. How about that assignment? And I wish I'd have thought about this when I was in college. That assignment, it's going to be so much harder later. It's what I tell my niece and nephew now. And they're 7 and 10. And they don't get it. They don't get it. And I'm going to keep repeating it, hoping that when they turn 13, 14, 15, they say, I get it now. It's got to be hard here. Because you're going to stack up against yourself, or you're going to stack up for yourself one way or another. You're going to hit that wall. Are you going to be able to climb over it? Are you going to have the guns to be able to punch through it? Do you have the smarts to get under it? You're going to have something. And all of that was hard back then. It's either going to be hard back then or it's hard right now. You can't escape the struggle. And for those who do escape the struggle, because there are people that have said, well, if I had all the money, then blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then you wouldn't have procrastinated because you wouldn't have had anything to procrastinate for. You wouldn't have tried to get better. There's nothing to get better in. It's the principle of cutting open the butterfly cocoon. You know about that? If you cut open a butterfly cocoon, you know what happens? All right, just to say it out loud, the fluid that's built up in the body of that larva that's inside the cocoon, if it's cut open or damaged in any way, they can't struggle their way through and force all of the fluid into their now beautiful wings. They will die in excruciating pain. And I don't want that. I don't want that for anybody. So the worst thing you could do is take the struggle away from somebody. And the worst thing you could do to your daggone self is to find a way away from the struggle. Because, yeah, you could absolutely leave that marriage that you're in that's hard and go find somebody to lay up with that's not as aggressive. But what did you lose from that struggle? What did you lose? That's the part. It's team, not negotiating, and being able to say, I'm just going to take this struggle head on. It hurts. It hurts. But man, after I learned that new non-linear editor, it was CapCut. I learned CapCut. And after I learned how to take the scripting that I did for everybody else, and once I realized, oh wait, I care about people, I learned my format. Teach you how to ride a motorcycle 60 seconds. I teach you how to drive stick in 60 seconds. I just want you to learn something today. I want you to feel what I feel. Because if you ain't never been on a motorcycle, my God, you got to know what it feels like. And I get lots of messages. In fact, you could take a look back here and on the outside of my door and somewhere else. These are all messages from people who say, thanks so much. You were the one that got me on my bike. You were the one that got, and there's a self-actualization. There's a, when you feel like you could do something that don't make no sense to do, then the stuff that makes sense to do, you can do. You are now empowering yourself to, because keep it a stack with you. I don't care what anybody tells you. Riding a motorcycle is hard. Driving a stick is hard. Driving a car is hard. I don't care how many people are doing it. It's hard. It's not intuitive. It's not a thing that we as humans just kind of Walking's intuitive. Running is semi-intuitive. I do recognize that people don't run correctly, but that's not the end of it. We're not talking about that. But the ideas around the stuff that we want to do, this is not normal flight. Flight is not normal. And when you do it, you've reinforced in your brain, I can do hard things. And if I can do this hard thing, best believe I could do the next hard. And I've had some of those messages too. Artie, I went back to school. Why are you telling me that? Because after I got my motorcycle license and I picked up that KLR 250, I realized I was the only thing stopping me. And that's what procrastination is. A thing that stops you because you've allowed it to. Get a team. Don't avoid the struggle. Lean into the struggle. But if you have a team, you can go to the team about the struggle. One of my struggles as a content creator on YouTube, I will never forget this. One of the most racist, most aggressive comments I've ever gotten in my life. Now, I will throw it out there. There is a perception of an individual who drives the car that I drive, right? If you don't know what it is, I'm not going to go into it. But you get the point. Fact is, if you drive the car that I drive, people will say certain things. I got it because it's a manual. I'm driving a manual muscle car. Like, leave me alone. But guy wrote, your content comes out the same drawer as chicken and watermelon. Yeah, it hurt. Because what it did was it took one of the negotiations that I had made real and stopped me from being a content creator years ago, and it brought it right into the forefront. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. So, of course, you know what I do? I went to my little brother. He comes over to the studio because we have a studio in Brooklyn, and we were working on some stuff, his stuff, my stuff, whatever. And I said, I don't even want to do anything today. And he looked at me. That's the one thing I love about Zeke. He's so calm. He said, bro, what's going on, man? You would think that he was the older brother. I'm the frantic one. Kill everyone. Like, no. Well, no, man. Bro, what's going on, man? Let's talk about it. Smooth dude. Super smooth dude. Ladies man, that's what it is. I'm not a ladies man. But anyway, he's like, yeah, so what's going on? I said, well, this guy said this wild thing about me. He's like, you know, what up, chicken and watermelon, you know? And he looked at me and said, all right. That was it. That was the whole conversation. Who said to him to say, this guy's a loser. He doesn't have the life you have. He's not doing the stuff you're doing. Look at this bad wife you got that you partner with on every project. Look at the car that you drive. Look at your motorcycle. Look at all this stuff. He ain't got nothing. And he said the thing I needed to hear. Your negotiation from earlier And the negotiation that was brought to bear right now, useless. It doesn't matter. It is fiction. You are choosing to focus on fiction, and you will lose the thing that you're built for. You will stop doing the thing that you're supposed to do because the negotiation you had from back in the day may be brought up right now. Hey, I don't want to be put out there because, people might be mean to me. So what? That's a struggle you have to deal with. Because for that one person that said that really mean thing, which I'm going to tell you right now, Chris, is going to live rent-free right here, probably right around here in the back of my brain for the rest of my life. I got all those people that I have so many more comments. Did you know that you could buy paper that you could put into an inkjet printer and you could turn them into stickers? That's what's on my wall right now. I had to buy stickers. So many people. Thank you, Chef Boy. Getting the recipe. You're helping to change my life. And people don't understand how powerful it is to learn how to ride a motorcycle, learn how to drive a car, to just know that you can do a thing because the negotiation starts to slow down. And I'm not saying it's going to stop at any point. Because every time I'm on that treadmill, I say, I'm excited I was already here. I got here today. I got here. I went half a mile. That's half a mile more than most people. Let's get off the treadmill. No, you said 2 miles. Do your 2 miles. Struggle. Deal with it. And you know what? Reward yourself. Eat a donut. Get you a donut. That's what's going to happen today. You're going to get you a donut. How many calories did you burn? All right, cool. Get you 1 donut. 1 crazy sugar-filled donut because you deserve it. Because you didn't negotiate. Now, you can't have a donut every time. But you know what? I like tuna, so give me a tuna fish sandwich. A little extra cheese on it. I don't know if anybody puts tuna and cheese together. Maybe I just did I just tell people that I do something weird? Anyway, maybe get a PB&J. I love a PB&J, but that's not part of my meal plan. That's fine. You reward yourself for that. The other reward? You go to your team and you tell your team what you just did. And if you have the right team, oh my God, the type of celebration. By the way, your team has to be multicultural and it can't just be dudes and it can't just be women. Okay. So I have a young lady, her name is Ayana, and she is like a year younger. She's literally my but she's great friends with my wife. And if I tell her hey, I'm losing it right now. Okay, let's talk. Not that I can't go to my wife. I go to my wife for literally every single thing. My God. I can complain to my wife. I went to her, so what's that chicken and watermelon? And she was the one that said, well, look at all the things that you have. And that person's the smartest person in the room because they're the only person in that room. You know what I mean? She's spiteful and mean. I'm very happy she likes me, okay? I don't know if I could take what she would say. But I'm going to get something different from each member of the team. And everybody knows I'm going to give you pretty much everything. You're going to get accountability from me. I'm going to listen to you deeply. I'm going to tell you that you need to get done what you need to get done. I'll body double with you. That's another big thing about having a team, body doubling. I don't know. It works for me. I don't know if I'm ADHD or not, but I know a few people who are ADHD and they say, hey, can you just come here and be with me in the midst of me doing this? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do my thing. And I'm going to constantly comment on your thing. Sounds good. So that was an exceptionally long answer to simply say that the cheat code is having the right set of people around you and knowing if you don't have the right set of people around you. And unfortunately, limiting or completely cutting off any amount of time with the wrong set of people so that you can focus on not only the right set of people, but energy is not a renewable source. Like you don't get energy from going to sleep, man. You get energy from sources. Like I used to say, I got to eat my food. I got to read my Bible. And then I got to get lyricism as in, I got to listen to someone that's speaking that truth, whether it's in rap or it's in country or whatever. Just I need some lyricism, right? I need to eat. That's 3 ways to eat. But all of that's energy. All of that's energy. It's energy, but it's the right energy. You have to have the right energy. You can't spend your energy. I think before we started the conversation, you and I were talking about the idea of a person 2 + 2 = 5. I can't do it. No, that energy can't get wasted. Why? Because I already have to lift today. You know, I may not be lifting weights, but my struggle is still a lift. You know, the struggle for me was learning a nonlinear editor. I want to turn the camera around and show you my desk setup. I got a 49-inch monitor and a 24-inch touchscreen right underneath it. And now I'm using both sets of this thing. All of this is one NLE and the other is the other NLE, and I got to go into the system and grab some stuff. I didn't want to learn this. I was not an editor. Now I am. I'm doing what I need to do so that I can be what I need to be, so that when I get to that wall, I have the strength to punch through. Because I'm going to tell you right now, man, I'm not the kind of guy to dig. I'm not digging under the wall, okay? I got to punch straight through. So I got to get my muscle up. I have to struggle to get to where I need to be.
No, it's there's a some very great points in there. Some very interesting stories. I'm glad that you have such a good such a good team behind you. Your brother sounds amazing. Your wife and that other lady there. And no, I mean what you said is absolutely right. I mean, when you I like the saying that's kind of simplifies it. When your why is high, your cost is low.
I told you I like lyricism, right? I told you about that. I told you, you guys as an energy. I'm writing that down just so you know. I have a large whiteboard over here. So when why is high, cost is low.
Yeah, and then the other thing that you said was very true. The struggle, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because it's the only way we grow. And I first read this in a book by Michael Singer, the Untethered Soul. I didn't want to read it at first because it's a concept that, like you said, we don't want to deal with. Said the only path to freedom is through pain. And he had this really great story about it, about how how we just don't want to go for what we want. So there's these two dogs, one big buff, whatever dog it was. Now I don't remember exactly in the story. There's this huge, massive, let's say Mastiff or Labrador Cross or something, and there's this little tiny Chihuahua. And the owner had the hardest time keeping them from, going across the street and taking balls from the playground. And so he put in one of those electric fences. And the first day after he put in the electric fence, he put the collars on the dog. The big dog starts running out there. He sees the kids playing. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get that ball." The big dog starts running out. And he runs towards. He hits the electric fence. It zaps him. It's not enough to kill him. Not enough to hurt him really. But it was uncomfortable enough. He lets out this like really shrill yelp. Runs back to the front porch. Says, "Nah, I ain't doing it." The Chihuahua walks out. Starts walking out there. Runs out. Yips. Yeah, that's it. But the difference is the next day, while the big dog was laying on the front porch, the little Chihuahua walked over until it could just feel the tingle in the collar, and it laid down, spent all day there. The next day, the little Chihuahua went a little bit further just so it could feel a little bit more, and he laid there all day until finally, I don't know how long it said it took him, but eventually he got to the barrier and he just ran right across it, grabbed the ball, came back, and had a field day.
It's the concept of being in the status of discomfort, the status of the struggle. I'm just gonna sit here. And it's I believe the term is kaizen. I believe it's a Japanese term dedicated to the principle of overall progression. It's not sexy. It's not fad-like. It's the idea that, what do you want? I want to have big muscles. Okay. Well, if you want to have big muscles, you have to do a thing to make big muscles happen. Let's find the most simple thing you could do to make big muscles happen. Let's start with one big muscle. Can I choose muscle group? Sure. We'll go with anything that is affected by a push-up. Okay. I want to do 100 push-ups. Stop. No. You're gonna do 2. Excuse me. I'm gonna do 2 today. You do 2. It's the concept of breaking down the idea into such a small bite-sized piece that it would feel foolish not to do it. And I love that idea because we have the principle of regression to the mean, right? So if you put 1,000 push-ups in a week, and you do normally 0, for the next month, you're probably not doing any push-ups. So instead, why don't you do 2 push-ups? Then regression to the mean would be the next day you're doing -2 push-ups, which really means that there's 2 days you're not doing push-ups. But it's 2 push-ups. Just do the 2 push-ups. It's fine. You've now raised your mean. So whatever you regress to, your floor, because we always have a floor, right? We have a floor. For some people, depression is the floor. For others, it's not really depression, but it's, I can't get out of bed right now. I'm tired. I just don't want to. Mental energy, mental exertion. Well, why are you doing this? Nah, just do this and watch it slowly creep up. Slowly, just, and I'm gonna use that story that you've given me, right? I'm gonna use that for the rest of my life. Just sit like the chihuahua. Sit in it. How much can you take right now? Sit in it. And once you can't take any more, notate where you were, come back here. Come back here the next. And just keep doing it. Know that at a certain point, be okay. You know, I don't know if you're into anime at all, but there's a guy named One Punch Man. Are you familiar?
Yep.
So One Punch Man, his whole exercise routine and whatever, like that's not like a, he said, do all of this in the summer with no air conditioning, in the winter with no heat. And that was the part that everybody forgot about. Now he's prepared for some uncomfortable situation. Did he need to do that? No. But he forced himself into discomfort, right? Did that help with any of his stuff? I mean, canonically, maybe it did. I don't know, whatever. But if I just want to take this and I want to move the story how I want to, that's not going to change a lot. You're going to sweat more. Okay. You'll drink more. You know, you're not going to freeze, but you've become accustomed to the discomfort. It's no longer discomfort. That's just where you live.
Yeah, I mean, that whole, you mentioned to just learn something new every day, let something go every day, and that's the way. But one word keeps coming back, and I really like that you keep saying, well, you have to. No, you don't, because everything in life is a choice. There's literally 2 things in life that aren't a choice. You can't choose to be born. And I mean, you really can't choose to not go anywhere when you die, right? I mean, we all die. So, well, our bodies die. That's the start. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to change that time, that mindset, right? You want to take accountability. You want to take ownership, right? So no, yes, I have to, I have to do the dishes. Your wife tells you I have to do the dishes. I hate doing dishes. I love doing dishes. Why would I do dishes? No, I'm choosing to do the dishes because I don't want to fight with my wife. I want her to be happy with me. So I'm choosing to do the dishes, but it's my choice. I'm not doing it because she told me to. I'm doing it because I'm choosing to.
100%. And I think it's one of the two, or really it's whatever you need. What do you need in order to do the thing you need to do? Right? I love the concept of have to. I love that concept for me personally, right? Because it's an equation. For me, I have to get to the gym. Why do you have to get to the gym? Because if I don't get to the gym, I won't be in the gym. Okay, yeah, sure, but why do you need to be in the gym? Because being in the gym causes me to grow. Huh? Well, I'm going to a place and I'm going to spaces where I don't have a choice. Once I walk through the door, not just to the gym, but to the class. See, before I actually start lifting on my own, I go to a class. I don't care what the class is. The class could be extreme hit. It could be go 90. It could be something for like 60-year-olds. I'm in that class. And I'm going to tell you right now, ain't nobody outworking me, which means I am done at the end of whatever class it is, including the old folks class. You know why? Because the old folks are not doing light work, man. They doing work. And then when you modify it for what you do, what you can do, you're doing work. So I have to be there. Because if I'm not there, I'm not in the space to do the thing. By the way, I told you it's an equation. Well, what's on the opposite side of the equation? The thing I want. In order for me to have what I want, I have to. So they're equivalent exchange, right? Like the philosopher's stone, right? Like I have to. Now, I love what you said because the idea is, well, no. It's not that I have to, it's that I've made the choice. So for an individual like my nephew, who is very autonomy driven, boy cannot take a requirement to save his life. Gabriel, can you do me a favor? No. I mean, he doesn't say no, but his spirit says no. Like, I need you to stop doing that. Well, I'm going to keep doing it. What you going to do? I'm going to throw you against the wall. Like, what do you mean? You weigh all of 80 pounds. I eat what you weigh for breakfast. Don't play with me. But general idea is, what am I going to leave him with? I can't tell him have to. Can't. Because have to won't work for him. Demand won't work for him, but the autonomy, bro, you choosing this. Now, you can choose to do this and suffer these consequences, or choose to do this and suffer these consequences. Because there's still a suffering, but it's not necessarily painful. You know, I suffer the consequences of doing the dishes whenever I do the dishes. Consequence is my wife, who is her love language is physical touch. She is going to wrap her arms around me and physically touch me. Mine is not physical touch. Mine is quality time, right? I don't mind touch, but you know, there are times I just want to be left alone. It's hot. She's always cold. I'm always hot. The only reason I'm wearing a sweatshirt is because I have my AC on right now. It is on full blast. It's like 62 degrees in here. It's terrible. But notice I'm not sweating. This is great. But yeah, I sweat when I think, so I don't really want to be touched like that all the time. But that's the consequence. I'll take that over the disdain, sadness, frustration, anxiety, because after she finished doing what she needed to do, she has to add that to her plate. So now I've got those consequences. For me, it's a have to, right? Because it's the equation. I have to do the dishes because if I want her to be happy, then I need to have this off of her plate. And there's not a time, and she could be on my final nerve. She's often on my final nerve. There's not a time I don't want her to be happy. So the dish is going to be done. I'm going to take care of that because I have to. Granted, it is still a decision, but I'm less autonomy. I'm more of a requirements kind of guy. You know what? I'll do the requirements gathering for you ASAP. Let's figure out what's needed. What do we need to remove from the workflow? What do we need to add to the workflow? And can we put anything back later? That proves that we did it right. You know, we're not wasting effort and energy. I want to put back only what's necessary. Once I've done the requirements gathering, now we abide by the constraints. That's it. I'm a constraints and requirements driven kind of guy. But like my nephew, if you need the autonomy, you need to know this was my decision. Have to doesn't work. And honestly, at the end of the day, I really don't care how you get across the finish line. You could fumble your way into the touchdown. Just get there. Because we're waiting for you. We're waiting for you at the finish. Or maybe you beat us to the finish line. I don't know. I don't care. Well, however the story works for you.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the finish line because you know, sometimes we get so focused on the finish line that, you know, when we finally get there, we're just unfulfilled, and it's just you know, how do you deal with that yourself personally? Like you say I want to lift, I don't know, 150 pounds. So you set out and you do that, but you know, the whole time you're there, and then once you get there, you know, you're not satisfied. So what's going on there for you?
Find your manual. So everyone keeps asking me, why would you get a Hellcat manual? It's not as fast as the automatic. You're not going to be able to beat me. I don't care. I didn't get it for that. I got it because I drive through Brooklyn traffic. When I leave from the garage and I go to the closest highway, it's not a highway, but closest highway, I hit 15 red lights and probably about 20 minutes of traffic before I get to open her up to about 35 to 45 miles per hour. The entire time from getting into the car to getting back here, an hour later to go less than 4 miles, I enjoyed every last minute of it. You can be frustrated in your automatic all you want to. You could question, how can you drive stick in the city? Dubba, dubba, dubba. I found my manual. I found what gets me enjoyment from A to B. I found the thing that helps me to be excited while doing the thing. Now, seeing as how I learned how to drive stick and seeing as how my A to B is more fun than everybody else is getting to, like everyone's on destination, like you said, everyone's destination bound. Everyone is finish line bound. I don't think about the finish line. I already told you. I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do because I know what I want to do. Now I got to have fun right now, right this second. How am I going to have fun? And that's one of the reasons why there are certain personal trainers I can't work with because I know that I don't want to do certain things. And you're only having me do certain things. Well, Artie, I'm going to need you on this treadmill. You're going to be at a 4% incline, and we're going to have you at about 7 miles per hour. We're going to do this for about 32 minutes straight with no breaks. No. No. I'm not doing that. Instead, you can give me some HIIT training. Same concept. It's different, though. My calves are bigger than yours, so I don't need bigger calves. I'm not running. Stop it. But what will be fun for me? Well, I mean, I was a basketball player when I was younger, so plyometrics. I am kind of big now, so lifting. I definitely have a competitive streak, classes. That's what is going to make me get across the finish line. And while I'm doing it, it hurts. But man, when you go from doing this stupid stuff here to picking up some heavy weight, now I'm having fun. Then I got to go back to doing this stupid mess here where they said, my man said, you're going to pick it up and then you're going to go out. Like, why? Why are you doing this? This is stupid. But then we get to lift heavy for about a minute. So there's a minute of this stupid mess here, and then I get to go into my stuff. And then we got to do some cardio. Don't nobody want cardio. But it doesn't matter. We're going. We're going. We're going. So in the midst of the struggle, all of it's a struggle, by the way. Even the heavy lifting is a struggle. But my God, I'm having fun. I found my manual. So the advice is the hardest part of all of this is the thinking. That's for every single situation under the sun. The hardest part is the thinking. It's not even execution half the time. If I think it through correctly and I create the paradigms by which I can't go back, Kaizen, not going against the median. I forgot what I said. The medium, the average, regression to the mean, regression to the mean. As long as I'm not going so far above what I normally do, as long as I'm slowly or even quickly, because there are people that can quickly progress. This is slow for some people. This is fast for me, but it's slow for some people. As long as you think through the progressions, you have the right team. The thinking is the hard. What is the thing that I want to do? What is the thing that I'm choosing to do? How can I have the absolute most fun I possibly can? What will make this fun for me? What made it fun for me is I started my nonlinear editing journey, or really editing in the computer journey, with DaVinci Resolve. And I had purchased something. I go run and grab it, but it's called a speed editor, speed keys, right? And the cool thing about DaVinci is you have two different places you can go to cut something up. One is the edit page, which every editor knows about because, with timeline stuff, magic. But they also have the thing called the cut page. And that's what the speed keys are for. All of those buttons are mapped to something in the cut page. You can use it all over the place, but really it's meant to quickly get up and running. And while I was sitting here with the keyboard and the computer and just staring off and saying, I can't do this, I don't like this, sat down with the speed keys. Move, enjoying the process. So maybe you have to spend a little more money to enjoy the process. Or maybe you don't have to spend any money. You just have to get creative. How are you going to find your manual? How do you enjoy driving through the streets of Brooklyn, 15 red lights, before you even get a sniff of 60 miles per hour? And by the way, 60 miles per hour will get you pulled over, okay?
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, what you said is absolutely right. You got to learn to enjoy the journey. And, if you don't know how to do that, then you have to find a way to do that because, as I said, you got a limited amount of time here. You might as well enjoy it while you're here. And as one of the greats wrote, the key to a simple, happy life really is three things. Non-attachment, non-judgment, non-resistance. And so, if you're not enjoying it, you're resisting something. Stop resisting.
Non-attachment. What was the other one?
Non-attachment, non-judgment, and non-resistment, non-resistance. So if you're judging something, you're no longer in it for you. You're judging external things, and that's taking away from you. And if you're not liking it, you're resisting. And when you resist, there's no real point because we can't control that 15 mile per hour traffic. It's just causing internal pain. 98% of our suffering is caused by us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you take that out of the equation, you're good to go.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it's the enjoyment of the A to B. I know what the reality is. I like that. I know what the reality is, and here's where I sit within the reality. Change what I can, and if I can't change it, then c'est la vie. It's very interesting. I like that. So it's non-judgment, non-resistance. What was the first?
Good luck with the first one. It's non-attachment. So
Non-attachment. Oh no, I'm attached. No, sorry. Yeah, that's no, sorry. I'm attached. I am deeply attached to this woman that I met October 4th, 2004, 1:56 p.m. She's most of my world. Okay, she's most of it. Uh, Deeply attached to the people that are on the team. Deeply attached to the roster. I'm deeply attached to the ideals around the brand, right? So motorsports, automotive, tech as a whole. I would say camera, but no, I'm not a cinematographer, so really no. But you get the point. Video gaming. I'm attached, and I finally, at this stage of the game, I have finally become attached, and I've finally fallen in love with this guy, Artie Shaw Jr. Um, I am attached now to the ideas of who he is as a person, and I like him now more than before, a lot more than before. I was steady trying to be somebody else like my entire life. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, but I'm definitely attached to those ideas. Luckily, being attached to Artie means that I'm attached to a guy who does procrastinate I mean, far, primarily because I'm not allowed to. I've got the systems in place. I scientifically managed this. I think I did a pretty good job building the team, finding the why that makes the cost low, and finding my manual so that no matter what, let's say I never get, as long as I got a gas station along the way, I'm good. I'm fine because I'm gonna enjoy every last minute of this.
very true, very true. Well, Artie, we are coming up towards the end of the time here. Was there anything that I didn't ask that maybe you felt I should have asked, or maybe something that you feel we should have touched on but we didn't touch on?
In terms of the topic at hand, I don't think so. I learned a bit today, and I'm hoping that my experiences lend well to others that hear this. Understanding this, the simplest of paradigms, like get yourself a team, even if it's a team of two. The other cheat code, and I learned this from someone else, get yourself an alias or get yourself a villain. It's not another person, it's you. Those two internal characters can be your entire team. There was a book. Oh man, was it the Millionaire Next Door? No, it wasn't the Millionaire Next Door. There's another book about Think and Grow Rich, and he talks about this internal conversation that he had with greats that he would never meet in life. He just studied. And he was able to almost chat GPT their answers in his head. The communal, the system of people that he would reach out to in his brain, in his mind, every night before going to sleep. It was so vivid that he could see these people sitting around a table. The such greats as George Washington and George Washington Carver, and like individuals that were titans of their industries, whether inventors or otherwise, do the same thing. What would your villain say in this situation? Notice I didn't say angel, because I have the angel and the villain on my shoulders at all times, and I don't really like the fact that the angel says you've done enough. No, I haven't. I haven't done enough. You might need more rest. I don't think I do. I think I'm okay because I like to listen to the villain. The villain pushes a little bit harder.
So that's an interesting concept. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone actively listening to the villain before.
And it's funny because I said it to a personal trainer. I said, I've got two voices. She said, yeah, while you're running, you've got that one voice in your head. And I said, no, I have to talk to her after this class is over. I said, I don't have one voice. I have two. One says, the fact that you got here is enough. You can back off. Why are you at 12 miles an hour? I know, like literally, she said 15 seconds. Why are you at 12? You can drop down to 9. It's okay. The other, 15 miles per hour, 1 mile per minute. Let's do it. For the most part, I've taken the average of the angel and the villain. So that's where the number 12 came from. You said 9, he said 15. All right, cool. And I'm not speaking in a schizophrenic kind of way. No, I want to achieve, which means I'm going to plan for higher. I also am lazy, so my brain wants to do less. I err on the side of the villain because I know that I've taken it easy on myself my entire life. So when I hear 15, I might go 13. I might go 14. I might err on the side of, you'll be all right. What's the worst that could happen? That alter ego, the one that can achieve anything. I think that's my villain. Still cares about people, but a bit more Machiavellian, a bit more narcissistic. I'm telling on myself now, but yeah, listen to your villain if you got
one. Okay. Well, all right. You heard it directly from Artie. Listen to your villain, people. See what it says, and please fill his inbox with your results.
Please do reach out to me, Artie Shaw Jr. on Instagram. I am at the Chef Boy everywhere else. You can probably find my email somewhere, but really, I like seeing messages in my inbox because it just means that the community is either growing or somebody just has a question. It's fine. Yeah, let me know how the villain works out for you.
Well, again, Artie, thank you so much for being on the show, and to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. And again, if you can't seem to find the motivation or inspiration for yourself today, just try and be that motivation or inspiration to someone else. And we'll see you again next time.